Sudabeh, fantastic to meet you. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us. I'm Sarah from The Upcoming in London. Maybe we could start by talking about where we are in beautiful Marrakech. How does it feel to be here as part of the film festival and also to get to spend a bit of time in the city?
It's really amazing to be in Marrakech. It's my first time and it's such a great festival. I mean, it's so incredible how many amazing filmmakers are here, and it's a great program and nice city to explore. Happy to be here with my film.
Yeah, some incredible filmmakers, not least paying homage to De Niro, Scorsese
Exactly.
here, Agnes Varda.
Agnes Varda, it's crazy. It's amazing to have such great filmmakers here.
Are they some directors that you particularly admire? Do you have any others that have inspired you in your filmmaking career?
I can't really... I mean, there are a lot of filmmakers I like, and I love to watch movies and have a very diverse taste in movies. But it's hard to say that. I think I'm more inspired by life than by other filmmakers.
Yeah.
So.
And if we can come to the film that you're screening here at the festival, Joy, maybe you can give us a brief introduction to what this film's all about.
Well, Joy is the story of a woman from Nigeria who's been victim of sex trafficking. And it's her struggle to survive. She has to pay off debts to her exploiter, who's a woman actually, the madame. And she sends back money to Nigeria, so she's caught in this vicious cycle of trying to get out of an almost slave-like existence.
And it's your second feature film, I understand. What inspired you to tell this story? Was it something that you knew about from someone you knew, something you'd seen, something you'd read? What was the inspiration?
I read about human trafficking from Nigeria. Actually, a very good book by two Austrian journalists. It's an older book, but unfortunately everything in the book is still relevant. That's how big the problem is. So there are, most of the women working in prostitution in all over Europe are trafficked women. Only a very small minority is women who would choose to do this work. And I mean, tens of thousands of them are from Nigeria. And I read about this subject and about this kind of cycle of women exploiting other women, and decided to make a film about it.
And what else did you have to do in terms of preparation and actually filming this? Did it take a lot of research? How long was the build-up? Were there any real challenges?
Yeah, research is very important to me because I work in a very documentary style. And this script of the film is based in a lot of in many real stories. There's a lot of reality in the story, although it's a fiction film. So I did a lot of research by talking to women who have gone through this in Austria, but also I made a research trip to Nigeria, which was very essential for being able to understand this system and writing a script that's very true to life and to the reality of these women.
Were there any moments where you found it particularly challenging to kind of face the reality that these women were in?
I think in the beginning the shock was really big and I was really horrified. After I started to spend time with the people and researching it, I mean, it's still horrible, but you get to know the people and things change, in a way. It became easier to make the film once I started to actually know actual people and develop the story with them. And I don't want to say you get used to it, this would be cynical, but you need to keep a professional distance too. I mean, if you want to be just shocked and horrified by it, you cannot go ahead and do your job as a filmmaker,
And there are sometimes challenges about trying to represent a different culture that's not your own, of trying to see how you can balance getting things to seem authentic, accurate to life, but then also you need to tell a story.
Sure.
There needs to be a narrative. So how do you balance it?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's always a challenge when you're basing a story in a world that's not yours, that's not your culture, that's out of your range of experience. So I think it needs a very, very, very thorough research and a lot of respect for the other culture. So no assumptions, no judgments. Just being open-minded to learn what's the situation and what's also the beliefs of the people. For example, religion plays a big role in the lives of Nigerians, and also like this juju tradition or juju oath plays a big role in the trafficking business. So you cannot approach it with a closed mind, and just say, oh, this is superstition and laugh at it or something. You have to keep an open mind and just try to understand what it is for the people who are affected by that, not what you think about it. And so this way I think you can, if you spend enough time and have the respect and the openness, you can get to that point to be authentic.
And talk to me about the cast. How did you choose these people to be involved with your film, and how did you work with them to really execute your vision?
Once I'd done my research, I wrote a screenplay. We got the funding for the film, and then we did a casting. And I was looking for non-professional actors, for people who can somehow relate to the story. Not necessarily, they're not playing themselves, of course. I mean, they're actors, but somehow can understand this world or the character they're playing. And we did castings. We did a lot of street casting, but also like in the Nigerian community in Austria, and found these really wonderful women who are turned out to be really wonderful and strong actors. And I work a lot with improvisation. So what I do is there is a script, but I don't give it to the actors to read. And I shoot chronologically, which means that the story develops and they develop with the story the relationships, the characters as we go on. So I will just explain every day on set what we are shooting today and just give them the cornerstones of the scene where I want to go, and then improvise it from there.
Yeah. And it is a really provocative film, and like you say, you are trying to give exposure to an important issue. What do you hope that people will take away from your film?
I mean that it starts a conversation. I think that would be good. I mean, it's only a film. It's not going to change the society. But what I really want, and that's why the film is also so, in a way, radical or very provocative in a way, is that the film puts the audience into the perspective of these women. We don't look at them from outside, but I get the audience to experience the story with them. So I want this kind of identification to touch people in a way emotionally and even like physically. So they start to ask questions about exploitation, about why these women are in this situation, not only on an analytical level, but just also feel with them. I think it's a good start for a conversation.
And it does feel like there's a real appetite at the moment for female-led stories, female filmmakers. Do you see that now is a good time for that? And what do you think different can be brought by giving more opportunities for women to make films and have more female-led stories?
Yeah, thank God there's an appetite. It's about time. I mean, we are half of the population of this planet, for God's sake. Finally, we can tell our stories. I mean, we did before too, but finally we are taking a little bit more seriously doing that. I mean, there are so many fantastic filmmakers, female filmmakers and female artists, and it's a good time that we are also seen and taken seriously, and I think we have a lot to tell, it's not, and also I don't think that female filmmakers only should or will make female-centric films or films about women. I mean, Catherine Bigelow doesn't make like very stereotypically female films, if you will, So, but I think there's a big diversity of films coming by women, and it's good that we finally can show what we can do,
And the film won the prize at London Film Festival. I think Lenny Abrahamson called it a devastating portrait of resilience. So what did it mean to you to win that prize, and what do you think it can do for the film and for your future career?
It was amazing. London Film Festival and the main prize was really amazing, and it's already, I can tell a lot of people wanted to talk to me after the prize and after London. I think it was a very big step for me as a filmmaker, and it was very good for the film. And the film has such a tough subject. So prizes like this, recognitions like this can be so helpful for people to go see it. That's really important. And for me as a filmmaker, of course, it was fantastic, the prize in London.
And can you quickly tell us what you want to go on to after this? What kind of film? What do you think you'll do next?
I can't say anything concrete because I'm still in the very, very early stages, but probably I will go on with this type of fiction film that based very, very strongly in reality, is a kind of documentary style.
And can you give any advice for people who are wanting to get into filmmaking from your experience of getting into it yourself?
Oh, there would be a lot of advice, but I would say mainly just focus on what you want to do. And the goal should not be like the success, the goal should be the work itself. And just put all the energy and focus and attention into that, and don't get distracted, don't get discouraged. Especially, I tell that to young women. Don't let people discourage you or belittle you. Don't take it seriously. Just do your work, and you'll see the success later when you put the energy and the focus into the work.
Okay, fantastic. Well, congratulations on a really wonderful film, and thank you so much for taking time to speak with us.
Thanks
Enjoy
a
the rest
lot.
of your time in Marrakech.
Thanks.
Thank you.